Alright, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it's Super here and welcome to another Mortal Kombat 11 video. This one is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be doing something that a lot of people have asked me to do. Excuse me, I got the hiccups here. Which is explain how I learn characters. And to me, it's pretty like straightforward, but I guess for newer players I'll try to explain as best I can how my mind works as far as learning new characters. I think people who have had the experience of playing multiple fighting games will probably understand how to learn a new character pretty quickly, but at the same time maybe not, because there's a lot of people who only play like maybe one or two characters, right? So the first thing that I want to say is that YouTube is your best friend. Back when I started playing Mortal Kombat again in 2015 when MK11 came out, there were a handful of channels, not including myself, that were uploading fighting game content in general, let alone Mortal Kombat content. Nowadays, everybody has a YouTube channel. Your favorite tournament player has a YouTube channel. So YouTube is your best friend. You don't even need specific tutorials to learn how to play your favorite character. All you have to do is just watch someone who is better than you are with that character and copy what they're doing. You don't have to like copy every single thing, but if you want bread and butter combos, if you want max damage combos, if you want just to know how to play with the character movement wise and what to do in like neutral, which neutral just means you walking back and forth, pretty much just trying to control the space better than your opponent, right? And get hits on your opponent at your optimal ranges. That's pretty much what neutral is. And you can learn so much just by watching someone who is better than you with that specific character. So now let's actually talk about what I do to learn a character. As you guys know, there was a lot of times where I would get invited to Warner Brothers like studio to record early gameplay for DLC characters like Spawn, Sindel, blah blah blah. So I literally have to learn in about 25 minutes how to do stuff that's like somewhat impressive with characters. So I definitely have that experience of learning a character in about 20 minutes. I don't think this video is going to take that long, but it's pretty simple. Like, I have the same steps every time that I want to learn a new character. Number one, I do every single normal button. So as you guys see here, NetherRealm has beautifully laid out for you everything that you need to know about specific moves, about specific combo strings, about specific normals. Everything is here. Just easy access. You don't know how lucky you have it. We don't know how lucky we have it because there's a lot of fighting games that do not provide this information. NetherRealm games do. It's super easy. First thing that I do, I test out every single button. This is 8 frames right here. Frame data is something that you're going to have to learn. It says right there, it's in bright red. Frame data. This is one of the most important things when it comes to learning a fighting game. Not just a new character, a fighting game in general. Frame data is something you're going to want to learn with your character and with a lot of characters in the game. But even just with your own specific character, frame data is going to be really important because there's some moves that are 6 frames, which is the fastest that you could have a specific button. There is no button in the game that is 5 frames. There might be special moves that might be faster than 6 frames, but normal buttons, 6 frames. So for example, if you know your character has a 6 frame down 1, you know that your opponent has the fastest possible down poke that a character could have in the game. That's a little example of why frame data is so important, because then you'll know I'll be able to mash the hell out of this button if, for example, you know that your opponent's move is 0 on block, meaning that both of you can move at the same time. Knowing that your character has a 6 frame down 1, you have that knowledge and you will be able to understand whether your down poke is going to be fast enough to hit your opponent. So frame data is literally the most important thing, in my opinion, that you can learn for your character. So of course I go through every single button and I check out whether it's a high, whether it's a mid, whether it's a low. Stand 1, pretty much the fastest button that Aaron Black has, along with the stand 2. All right, so now that I checked out all the buttons, all right, this is 13 frames. This is 6 frame, my fastest poke, but it's not a low, of course. I have my stand 2, which leads into a specific combo that's good for punishes. I have back 2, which is an 11 frame mid attack that leads into pretty much my best combo string. That's another attack that I'm gonna want to keep in my memory. You don't have to like literally use everything. You guys never see me use this button. You guys never see me use this button. There's specific buttons that you just don't need to learn, but the buttons that you do need to learn are the ones that you're gonna use the most. Stand 2, back 2, down 1. Those are like the bread and butters, right? And then you have other pokes that you might use in, you know, different situations. So a low, for example, if you want to do something that's a little bit slower than your fastest poke, you go with a low. There's different situations where Aaron Black is going to need his sweep. This is very useful. It has a ton of range. It actually goes below some mid attacks. It's called low profiling, where you go under attacks with his sweep. There's specific situations in which you're going to want to use that, but these moves right here are the ones that you're going to want to keep in your brain, because you're not going to be able to memorize all this. Like, you're not going to be able to memorize all that unless you like just put a ton of time into the game like I have, and a lot of people who, you know, upload videos have, that could like go back and forth between characters. But for a lot of people, you're not going to have enough time to memorize this for a ton of characters. But memorizing, you know, the important moves is pretty much the most important thing that you could do, as far as like being able to memorize attacks. Because people always tell me, how do you memorize attacks? Well, I don't memorize every single button in every single combo. If you notice, when I play Aaron Black, all I do is do this combo right here. I do this combo, I do this combo, and that's about it. That's literally, those are the only 2 combos out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 combos that he has. I literally just do 2. You know what I mean? So identify which combos are the important ones and then just remove the other ones. All right, so now that I know what buttons I want to use in what specific situations, obviously stand 2 is going to be my fastest punish. Let's have, so for example, this, right? I'm not going to have enough time to use my really good mid, right? But I am going to have enough time to use my fastest punish. Those are the kind of things that you're going to want to learn next, because you're not going to be able to get into your combos that you learn in combo videos if you can't actually get the hit on your opponent. So knowing the situation and knowing what button to use, what combo to use, and what specific situation to use it in is the second thing you're going to want to have to do. So just, that's the reason why frame data is so important, because just based off the numbers, you will be able to know what to use in specific situations. You know that if spawn does something that is, you know, punishable, but it's a tighter punish, then you're going to want to go with your 8 frame attack. If spawn does something that is very punishable, you're definitely going to want to go with your back 2-2, which is your best combo string that leads into a launcher, that could lead into setup situations, etc. So once you understand the frame data for each of your buttons that are important, then the next thing to do is memorize the range. So obviously this is not going to be something that I'm going to be using at this range, right? But this is. Memorizing the range of your attacks and knowing you know, what space your character wants to control is the third step. Obviously from this range, I'm not going to want to use this, but I am going to want to use this. You know what I mean? So there are characters in this game, like Spawn, for example. If I switch over to Spawn, he has this move right here, which is an absolute monster of a footsie tool, because Spawn controls all of this range right here, and it's fast. His stand 3 is 12 frames, very fast. It's only 1 frame slower than my back 2, which is my best button. Aaron Black's forward 3 is like 15 frames, something like that. So obviously, if we're both at this range and we press the button at the same time, I'm going to be able to beat his because his startup is too slow compared to my stand 3. And then I could go into any other attack. So you're going to want to learn the spacing of your moves, the max range on your moves. What's the max range? This is the max range right here for spawn. This is a little bit too far. This is still a little bit too far. Around here, that's your max range. Your other buttons too. His back one has a lot of range, right? It has pretty much the same range that stand 3 has. But as you see, stand 3 does have a little bit more. And the only difference between these is obviously this one is a high, this one is a mid. This one leads into a launcher situation where you could get extra damage if you don't have spawns like, you know, tackle launcher. So depending on the moves that you're using, if Aaron Black does something like this, you know, you're gonna want to whiff punish him with this instead of whiff punishing him with this. If you don't have the launcher, if you have the launcher, obviously, you know, you could whiff punish him with this and then go into your launcher, blah blah blah. But if you don't, you're gonna have to whiff punish him with this, bam, and you get some extra damage, more than you would initially. But that all comes down to knowing the spacing that you want to play with your character. So number 1, frame data. Number 2, knowing what buttons are the most important for your character, knowing what combo strings are the most important for your character, and pushing everything else out. Number 3, learning the spacing of your character's buttons and knowing what range your character wants to play at. So for example, obviously Spawn doesn't want to play up from up close. Spawn wants to play from like around here because he can control the space with this. If I'm Aaron Black, what am I going to do at this range versus Spawn? Like, Aaron Black is an up close character. He wants to be in your face, mixing you up. If you're a Spawn, you want to play at this range right here. And that's where learning the spacing of your normals comes into play, learning the spacing of your combo strings, and learning what combo strings are going to benefit you at what ranges. So that's number 3. And keep in mind, all this, you know, I have to do in under 20 minutes when I go to WB and try to learn a new character. So I don't actually, like, what I do obviously is I take a look at the buttons like real quick, because once, like, you pretty much get a good idea of what buttons are going to be good, what buttons are not, if you play the game long enough. And then, you know, number 2, I just put all the moves and I like tag them. I tag the moves on the screen and then I just do them. And like I said, it's pretty, you know, rinse and repeat with different characters. You will know right away what moves are going to be good with specific characters. You know that you're not going to be using this move when you have this move right here. You know that you're not going to be using this move when you have this move right here. You know, so it becomes common sense once you start playing the game a little bit more. So once you identify what combo strings you're going to want to do, obviously in MK11, you have to pick and choose what variation you want to use, what custom moves you want to use. A lot of characters have moves that are default moves. Like, for example, you get the slide with Aaron Black, and then you get his gun. You're going to want to identify what moves give you specific crushing blows. Obviously, you know, double of this and you'll get a crushing blow. One thing that's important for me when I play Aaron Black is I want to empty out the clip for my gun as fast as possible, because I'm not really going to use it zoning wise. I want to use it to get that crushing blow. So that's something that you're going to want to identify with your character. What crushing blows are going to be very helpful during the course of the game, and trying to get those crushing blows to be locked and loaded. For Liu Kang players, you always see them double meter burn their bicycle kick, because then all they need to do is meter burn it once and they're going to get access to the bicycle kick crushing blow. That's why you see a lot of people throw on the opposite direction that is not maybe predictable, right? If I'm like right here with Aaron Black, obviously I want to keep you in the corner, so I'm gonna throw forward. But if someone wants to load up that crushing blow, you throw them the opposite way. They tech the wrong throw, bam, you're all set for your crushing blows. Does your character even have throw crushing blows? So that's the next step. Special moves. What special moves are launchers? What special moves have specific crushing blows that are going to help you out? That's the next step that you want to do. Once you get the frame data on your moves, once you learn what the best punishes are, what the best combo strings are, and then once you learn the spacing of your character in different ranges, so you won't be whiffing attacks like this and getting whiff punished like I do sometimes. After that, you know, you learn your moves, you learn your crushing blows. And once you do that, that's it. That you have learned your character. All that you need now is bread and butter combos. And what I mean by bread and butter combos is combos that you're going to be doing every single time you get a touch. So obviously for Aaron Black, I don't have his traditional launcher, so I'm not going to be able to do his bread and butter combo. But if I do have this, if I have all the bullets, you know, that's going to be my bread and butter combo. It's going to help me get damage, and it's going to help me unload the clip. So then I could get his crushing blow, which is this right here. And then, you know, you just do your basic bread and butter combo right there in that situation, and bam, you get, you know, your optimal situation. You get the slide into the setup. You're right there on top of your opponent, and then that's a situation where you can actually go for this. You know, you see Aaron Black players do that a lot because look at the range that I'm at right here. There's a lot of characters in this game. Spawn is not included because he uses cape, but there's a lot of characters in this game that have wake up threes that Aaron Black can low profile with a slide or with a sweep. You know, so if you make that read and you punish the opponent by going underneath their wake up three, you get that extra 9% while they're still in the acid. Those are situations in which the slide is useful, or the sweep. So once you figure that out, like honestly, that's it for the character. Step one, learn your frame data on all your normals or the important ones. Step number two, learn what are your best combo strings in specific situations. If you want to mix your opponent up, I'm gonna go with this. If I want to mix my opponent up some more, I'll go with this. If I'm going to punish my opponent, I'm going to go with this move right here, which is my fastest button. If I'm at this range with Spawn and I want to throw something out that, you know, he's going to have to take, you know, I throw this out right here at this range. If I hit him, then I confirm it into the slide. If I don't, then, you know, he's going to have an opportunity to flawless block that second part. But to be honest, most people online are not going to be flawless blocking like Ninja Killer. Those are like a select few people that are actually going to be flawless blocking you a lot. Maybe once you get up to like demigod level and above, then you're going to want to, you know, maybe do something like this and not throw out that full combo string. But if you're playing below demigod, then, you know, you could get away with a lot of combo strings that are going to be flawless blockable, because most people are not going to be able to do that. Step number 4, learning your best moves, your launchers, and what moves are going to help you get the most damage possible with crushing blows. And then step 5 is getting your bread and butter combos. And for MK11 is pretty easy because there aren't too many combo potential characters, unless you count Sindel, you know, some of these characters that have a lot of combo potential. And in that case, like I said, YouTube is your best friend. Go search up videos on, you know, combo videos for specific characters, but don't pay attention to the combos that are obviously not gonna be able to be possible in game. If you see specific setups and specific combos that require you to start off with, like, you know, stand for, you know, things like that, like, you could obviously tell what combos are going to be useful in a match. So other than that, that's pretty much it. Once you put the time into the game, you will be able to identify all these things within 10 minutes. Like, honestly, it takes me about 10 minutes to go through the character's moves list, identify what's going to be my punish. You know, do I have a specific launcher? You know, for some characters, you have launchers that don't require special moves, like Spawn, for example, right? As soon as you see that he has a launcher from his combo string, you know that that's going to be very useful, because not only is it useful to get extra damage, but if you have his charge, then you could get even more damage by doing the charge right there, and then you go into even more damage. So once you put the time into the game, you could learn any character within 10 minutes. You could like learn the character within 10 minutes. To actually start getting wins and get good with the character, that's what takes a long time, because the only way that that's going to happen, you getting good with a specific character you're trying to learn, is to put time online. You're not going to get good only in training mode. Training mode is super important. I always say I would probably spend 80% of my time in training mode, 20% of my time actually playing online. But that's, I guess, just because I have a lot of experience playing, you know, I guess Mortal Kombat or the NetherRealm games at this point. So I kind of like know how to play the games. Not only that, but I put a lot of time into actually playing the game when the game first comes out. So once you get like that taste, and once you get a solid, you know, maybe 2 weeks of playing the game at the start, you kind of get an idea of what the mechanics are in the game, how the game is played, and then you could just carry that over to learning new characters. But the only way that you're going to be able to learn a new character and get good with that character is you're going to have to put the time into training mode. But if you do the things that I told you to do, that's like the very basics. You could learn a new character in 10 to 15 minutes. And having the benefit of YouTube showing you optimal combos and combo videos and actual in-game experience from like the best players in the world with those specific characters, you have all the advantage of learning new characters. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is how I learn new characters in Mortal Kombat 11 or in any fighting game in general. The same thing applies in any fighting game. I do the same thing. Some games might not have frame data available to you here. They might have, like, I think, let's see. Doesn't NetherRealm has that too, right? Practice options, button log, damage info. I know that they have like a specific little box that gives you all the frame data. Oh wait, it's already on. What the hell am I talking about? It's already on. There's going to be a lot of fighting games that have that instead of the actual written frame data in the moves list, but it's pretty much exactly the same. You just press a button, and whatever the start of frames, the active frames, the recovery frames, all that pops up in pretty much any fighting game at this point. So this applies to any other fighting game that you want to try to learn. The only difference is you might have to learn the mechanics of that fighting game and that engine and get used to that before you're able to, you know, freely learn this character and this character and this character in 15 minutes. But if you're a Mortal Kombat 11 player and you've been playing the game since the beginning, it literally will take you 10 to 15 minutes to learn any character that you want. Any character that you want. All you got to do is just do what I told you and look at YouTube videos of your favorite players playing that character, or combo videos if you want to learn some combos, and then you pretty much learn the character. And to get good with that character, it takes time. But to actually learn a character, it honestly takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So that's how I'm able to learn the entire roster when the game first comes out, because I get that experience when I play with my like favorite characters at the start. But once I play with those characters and understand the mechanics of the game, it pretty much carries over to any other character that I want to learn. And then I do the same steps that I literally just showed you right now. And you guys see that whenever I go record early access footage of a game. You're like, how the hell do you know these combos already? and it's pretty much because I know the mechanics of the game and I know how the game works from just experience. So you could easily pick up on things that are going to be useful for specific characters like right away. And like I said, it'll take you like 10 minutes to put together a couple combos and to know, all right, this move is going to be useful, this move is going to be useful, this move is going to be useful, blah blah blah. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.